Hey everybody. So today we're going to talk about a little bit about Moshiach. There's a lot of people, have all sorts of ideas of who he is, what's he going to do, all that kind of stuff. So we're just going to read straight from the Rambam and trying to get a better idea of what's going on. Okay. So I'll just read it in English and I'll elaborate. You guys can ask any questions on the way out. Okay. In the future, the Messianic king, will arise and renew the Davidic dynasty. Okay, Messianic is the word for Mashiach in English. Okay, we said Mashiach before is a person who's anointed with oil. The kings of Israel, they would take oil and, rub it on their head, and that's called Mashiach. And in English, it's called Messianic. Okay, so it will be a king. Okay, and renew the Davidic dynasty. Right, Israel was split into two. Right, there was Yehuda and Israel. Right, there were the kings of Judah, right, from the Davidic lineage, and the kings of Israel, right, maybe not from the Davidic dynasty. Okay, restoring its initial sovereignty. He will build the temple and gather the dispersed of Israel. Okay, so he has to build the temple, and he has to gather all the Jews to Israel. Okay, then in his days, the observance of all the statutes will return to their previous state. Okay, everybody will keep all the Torah. We will offer sacrifices. Okay, there will be a temple. Observe the sabbatical and jubilee years, right? The Shemitah every 7 years, and Yovel, right? The Shnat Yovel is the 50th year. Okay, where the land, nobody does any work in the land. According to all the particulars described in the Torah, right? The halachot of the Torah. Now, anyone who does not believe in him, right, or does not await his coming, okay, so you have to believe in him and you have to wait for him to come, denies not only the statements of the other prophets, but also the statements of Moshe, our teacher. Okay, Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay, and we have different verses to teach us. If you look at the pages, we have different verses. All right, as the Torah says, God will bring back your captivity and have mercy upon you. He will again gather you from among the nations. Even if your diaspora is at the ends of the heavens, God will gather you up from there and bring you to the land. Okay. These explicit words of the Torah include all the statements made by all the prophets. Okay, so it's not just in the Torah; it's in the rest of Tanakh. Right, Tanakh is Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim. Right. So in other places in the Torah, not just in the 5 books of Moses, there's also verses that allude to this. Okay. We'll skip to number 3. Okay, one should not presume that the Messianic king must work miracles and wonders. Okay, there was a person in Europe called Shabtai Tzvi. Okay, this man pretended to be Mashiach, and people believed him because he did all sorts of miracles, all sorts of wonders. Okay, and people were so enthralled and were, wowed by him that they went after him, and they made very big mistakes. Okay, because he turned out to be false at the end. Yeah, he turned out to be false.
How do we know the Mashiach is going to be him?
We're gonna talk about that, exactly how you're gonna find out. Okay, so he's not gonna work miracles. He's not gonna do any wonders. Okay, so don't go to any rabbis that claim to do this, and don't think that that's what Mashiach is gonna do. Okay, or bringing about a new phenomenon in the world.
But obviously, something big has to happen for everybody to come together from the whole world.
That's fine, right? It's fine. Yeah, something big could happen, but he's not going to do any miracles or wonders. That's not the sign of that's who's Mashiach. Okay? And it's not going to be something strange in the world. Like people are going to start walking on their heads. No. They weren't walking on their heads. Now they're walking on their heads. Oh, this must be the signs of the times. Okay? No, don't think like that. Okay? Don't worry, we're going to talk about everything, okay? He's not going to resurrect the dead,
He's not.
I know. Okay. Or perform other similar deeds. This is definitely not true. Okay. So anybody speaks to this, don't trust them. We're going to talk about that later, but okay. He's not going to be the one doing it. God does everything. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't put your faith in man, put your faith in God, right? That's the whole idea of everything, okay? Proof can be brought from the fact that Rabbi Akiva, one of the greater sages of the Mishnah, right, was one of the supporters of King Bar Koziva and would describe him as the Messianic king. He and all the sages of the generation considered him to be the Messianic king until he was killed because of his sins. Once he was killed, they realized that he was not Moshiach. The sages didn't ask him for any signs or wonders. Okay? You're not supposed to ask Mashiach, show me a sign that you...
The Mashiach.
Yeah, exactly. Okay?
The Mashiach's gonna know he's the Mashiach.
Okay, the main thrust of the matter is this Torah and its statutes and its laws are everlasting. We may not add to them or detract from them. Okay? That's the main idea. The Mashiach can't say, oh, now that's it. No more keeping the Torah. You guys are free.
Well,
Okay.
it's gonna be a kid that's born from a mother, right? He's
Exactly.
gonna be, grow up and okay. It's not
That's,
the same.
that's the
If the
definition
Rabbanim
of the
said that,
Davidic dynasty.
If the Rabbanim said that everybody have to חוזר בתשובה וכל זה, זה בסדר. להביא את הגאולה מהר.
They can say that, sure.
Okay,
sure.
that's okay. That's what they say, basically.
Lucky mom.
Yeah,
They
but
don't know when they're gonna come, but he said, even if it's not close, everybody needs to bring the geula, which means that everybody needs to do a lot of mitzvot, a lot of chazara b'tshuva. That's what they say. That's I want to know that we're in the same path.
yeah, okay. It's all about the Torah and mitzvot. We're going to see later. Okay, if a king will arise from the house of David, who will diligently contemplate the Torah and observe its mitzvot, okay, as described in the written law and the oral law, okay, as David, his ancestor, and he will compel all Israel to walk in the way of Torah, right? There's no more being secular, there's no more I do what I want, there's no more this religion's not for me. The Mashiach will cause, he will force everybody to keep the Torah, okay? So anybody who's lenient and says you can do this, it's fine. You can
Even
do
the
that,
worst
it's
stuff.
fine. Don't worry about that. Don't trust that person, okay? And rectify the breaches in its observance and fight the wars of God. We may with assurance consider him Mashiach, okay? If he succeeds in the above, builds the temple in its place, and gathers the dispersed of Israel, he is definitely the Mashiach.
What's the
Okay.
disperse?
Disperse and keep it
And the
for
pepazar.
Okay, so the Jews have to come back to Israel.
Yeah.
Everybody has to keep the Torah.
He's gonna be born
Okay,
in
he has to go to wars. He has to fight the wars of Hashem, of God, right? And he has to build the temple. If he did all this, then he's for sure Mashiach.
Now, how long all this gonna take?
I don't know. We're gonna
שאלות
see.
בסוף.
Huh?
שאלות בסוף. שאלות בסוף.
He's gonna be born
No,
in
you
Israel.
can ask, but we'll see. We're gonna see. Okay. He will then improve the entire world, motivating all the nations to serve God together. Okay, so everybody's gonna serve God. So if you see people not serving God, obviously he didn't come yet, right? If you see the Jews not keeping the commandments, obviously he didn't come yet.
Can you confront them? Can you confront people when they say something that it's against the
That's
Torah?
what.
What do you mean?
Let's say if somebody, I had somebody that her son is going out with a Chinese girl, and I'm like, and she said it's a done deal, and I'm like,
No, it's not a
no, it's not a done deal. And she's like, I'm asking him if it's okay to confront them.
Well, we were
Or
talking.
should I just
Not
leave
them,
and then?
not her.
Right, we were talking about
She's
this.
so-
We were talking about this earlier. Okay,
Not
if a person like you can come to me and say, "Hey, you, Rabbi, you're being angry. The Torah says you're not allowed to be angry." Okay, that's like you're rebuking me. Okay, because I care about keeping the Torah and mitzvot, so I'll listen to you. Or you say, "Hey, Rabbi, you spoke lashon hara." Okay, then that I can, because I want to fix myself. Okay, but people who don't have a life of Torah and mitzvot, they don't care what you're going to tell them.
Okay.
You can, and you're blue in the face and tell them
Minus.
you could be blue in the face and tell them, hey, you know that's not good. Hey, you know that's not good. But they themselves, they don't live that life.
אבל כל המציל נפש אחת מעם ישראל כאילו הציל את כל העולם. לא צריך להציל את האנשים האלה, לא צריך להגיד להם.
You can try. You can try.
They're
You
not
can't.
gonna listen to
She
you.
doesn't even-
You can try. Okay,
Fast on
listen,
YouTube.
guys. You can try and do whatever you want. Okay, but you know, don't get upset because think about it. They don't live your life.
No.
They don't care about the things you care about. Okay, their religion is to be happy.
Exactly.
Okay, their religion is not to be with God. Okay, and for them to be happy is to be happy, whatever it takes.
But today I heard something about Moshe Rabbeinu. When Hashem told him to go to Eretz Israel and to go to Bnei Israel and talk to them that they're going to do Teshuvah, he said they're not going to listen to him. So Hashem was upset on him that he spoke Lashon Hara, like Lashon Hara on the Bnei Israel. Now I'm thinking, maybe if I say something, maybe it's something in the Jewish person gonna move something, you know what I mean? So we can't say they're not gonna listen to us because maybe something gonna wake up when you say something like that. Maybe.
100%.
So in the same time, when they say we're not gonna listen to you, it's like you're talking Lashon Hara about somebody that maybe needs the chizuk. Maybe he needs something to hear. You know what I mean? Maybe.
You could try.
I'm not sure. I'm not the Navi.
Another boyfriend.
Okay.
Huh?
Find her another boyfriend.
And the other one.
All right, guys,
is,
guys.
Jewish, the other one? Jewish.
I don't know.
Guys, stop it. Okay. As it says, right? I will transform all peoples to a pure language, and they will call upon the name of God and serve Him with one purpose. Okay. So the whole world is going to serve God. That's where we're going to. Okay. If he did not succeed to this degree or was killed, he is surely not the Redeemer promised by the Torah. Okay? This puts aside all the questions of anybody who was dead. Anybody who's not here is not Moshiach.
Oh.
Okay?
So it sounds.
Rather, he should be considered as all the other proper, okay, and complete kings of the Davidic dynasty who died. Okay? God caused him to arise only to test the many. It's a test. Okay? Anybody who seems to have all these things and he dies and everybody still believes he's the one,
Like the
God is testing them and they're failing the test. Okay? And some of the wise men will stumble to try them, to refine and to clarify until the appointed time. Because the set time is in the future. Okay? Set time is not now. This is, you know, the person of from Nazareth, okay? Who people thought he was Moshiach, and he was executed and he was killed, okay? Now think about it. Is there any other, a big stumbling block? Their whole religion,
him when he was Jewish and he did good.
It doesn't matter, because if this doesn't happen, the whole world is not serving God. If they don't keep the commandments, if they're teaching people you don't need to keep the commandments, this is not what Mashiach is supposed to do. So you obviously see they're wrong. As good as someone could be in the world, if he's not doing this, he's not causing the whole world to serve God according to the way God said, not according to the way people said, not any man-made religion, okay? Then he's a false Messiah, okay? Right? All the prophets spoke of Mashiach as the Redeemer of Israel and their Savior, who will gather their dispersed. Okay? We're still in exile, right? We're at the time of this recording, we're in America, right? So obviously he wasn't the Mashiach, right?
גם בארץ אנחנו בגלות,
So
נכון?
we should go in Israel?
No.
לא, גם בארץ אנחנו בגלות.
Okay.
אז איפה צריך להיות?
שהמשיח יגיע, האמיתי.
כן, אבל איפה בני ישראל צריכים להיות? אם זה בארץ, זה גם...
כל תפוצות הארץ, לא? גם בעצם תפוצות אני מבוגר בקבוצות הארץ.
Okay. If you look at the next page, it says, how will this come about? The entire world has already become filled with mention of Mashiach, Torah, and mitzvot. These matters have been spread, the foremost islands, to many stubborn-hearted nations. Okay? They discuss these matters and the mitzvot of Torah, saying these mitzvot were true, but already negated in the present age and are not applicable for all time. Okay? These people, these other religions, don't want to keep the mitzvot. So obviously they cannot be, right, the redeemers of Israel. Okay? When the true Messianic king will arise and prove successful, his position becoming exalted and uplifted, they will all return and realize that their ancestors endowed them with a false heritage, and their prophets and ancestors caused them to err. Okay? So all the other religions are causing them to err, to make a mistake. Okay?
Fail.
Make a mistake.
Okay? So that was chapter 11. Now we're going to go on to chapter 12. Okay?
אני אוכל את כל העוגות שלך. יותר טוב, צריך לדעת.
אני לא אכלתי ארוחת ערב.
I'm not
Eat,
editing
mommy,
this.
enjoy yourself, don't listen to him.
Do not presume that the Messianic age, any facet of the world's nature will change, or there will be innovations in the work of creation. Rather, the world will continue according to its pattern. Okay? And here you have different verses in the Torah that teach you this. I'm not going to read them, but okay, the world, olam keminago noeg, right? The world is going to carry on as we are. We're still going to have one nose, one mouth, 2 ears, right? We're still going to need to eat.
שלוש עיניים.
Yeah, person's third eye, right? No. The world is going to be the same thing. Okay? In the Messianic era, everyone will realize which matters were implied by these metaphors and which allusions they contain. Some places in the Torah, it says different things, and when they come to fruition, you'll understand what they implied. Like the lion will eat straw like an ox. All these things, they're allusions, but we don't know exactly what it means right now. We will when the Moshiach comes and everything unfolds. Okay? Now, our sages taught there will be no difference between the current age and the Messianic era, except the emancipation from our subjugation to the Gentile kingdoms. Okay? What does that mean? The world is going to be the same, except the Jewish people will no longer have to be subject to the Goyim, the nations of the world. Okay? How do we know right now we're not in Mashiach's time? Because even in the state of Israel, we still listen to the nations of the world. We're not free to do what we want even in our own land. Okay?
ממש טעים. It's so good.
What is it?
Delicious.
So
my goodness.
Goodness.
I'm not editing this, guys.
למה? Mama, we need to make a fanzine פרנסה בעזרת השם. It's so good. It's delicious.
Okay. The simple interpretations of the prophet's words appear to imply that the war of Gog and Magog will take place at the beginning of the Messianic age. Okay, there's going to be a war, Gog and Magog. What's the war, Gog and Magog? Is all the nations of the world will come against Israel. And on that day, God will, destroy the nations of the world, and he'll show that he's the only one that was ruling of all time. Okay? So obviously this didn't happen yet, okay?
But איראן מפחידה קצת.
It's going to be the whole world, not one nation. Okay? Before the war of Gog and Magog, a prophet will arise to inspire Israel to be upright and prepare their hearts. Okay? As it states, behold, I am sending you
Malachi.
Elijah. Okay? Eliyahu Navi. That's what's going to happen.
He's coming.
Okay? He will not declare the pure impure or the impure pure. He will not dispute the lineage, okay, of those presumed to be of pedigree, nor will he validate the pedigree of those whose lineage is presumed blemished, okay? But he will just help turn people's hearts towards God, okay? So before that, there's going to be a prophet. Eliyahu is going to come and bring all of Israel, all the Jews, towards God.
Like ננבה, נכון? like יונה וכל זה וזה.
Yeah, something like that. There are some sages who say the Elijah's coming will precede the coming of the Mashiach. Okay, will come before. All these matters, okay, and similar matters cannot definitely known by man until they occur. For these matters are undefined in the prophet's words, and even the wise men have no established tradition regarding these matters except their own interpretations of the verses. Okay? How exactly it's going to happen, when the prophet's going to come, when the war is going to be, when Moshiach is going to come. All these things, nobody knows. So anybody who's claiming to say this, tell them, thank you very much. I'm not interested. Okay?
But it could be that Hashem's going to hide him like he did with David. That he's not going to show everybody. They're not going to know. We're not going to know exactly that it's the Mashiach.
I think the
No,
purpose
if
is
he
for
does
him
all
to
these
know.
things, you're gonna know he's the Mashiach.
But what happened with David the Melech?
It doesn't matter.
Oui,
This is the tradition. God said, guys, this, if he does X, Y, and Z, he's Mashiach. Don't confuse yourself. Don't get crazy thoughts into your head. If you see these things happening, you can say, wow, there's the Mashiach. Until these things don't happen, you can't say it about anybody.
Nachon,
That's it.
but
That's
Hashem's
it.
going
That's
to
That's
hide him.
it.
He's not going to be.
That's it. No hiding, no seeing, no this. These are the signs. You see this, he is.
Okay,
You
so
don't
what
see
happened with
this,
David?
he's not.
Okay, what
It
happened with
doesn't.
David then?
It doesn't
Lama, he
matter.
was Mashiach too.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It was
Okay,
happened.
it doesn't matter. Don't confuse yourself with these things. Oh, it's that rabbi. Oh, it's
No,
that
no,
guy
no, no,
over
no.
there. He's just hiding. God's just hiding. It's him, but he's hiding him.
No.
Well, what do you want? Why would a person
You
want to
don't
confuse
understand what I'm
himself?
saying. You don't understand what I'm
Exactly.
saying.
Exactly. Okay. Now, right. Therefore, there's controversy among these matters. Okay. Regardless of the debate concerning these questions, neither the order of the occurrence of these events or their precise detail are among the fundamental principles of faith. Okay? Exactly how it's going to be. Okay? What's going to happen has nothing to do with what we believe. Okay? All these details are not going to help you believe in God more. A person should not occupy himself with the agadot and the homiletics concerning these and similar matters. Calculate, yeah, it happened this, we're close to the end of the 6,000 years, it must be now, it should have been 2 years ago, it should have been, none of that, right? Nor should he consider them as essentials, for study of them will neither bring fear or love of God. Okay? Whether you know exactly what's going to happen, what time it's going to happen, who's going to do it. Okay? These are not things that draw you closer to God. And the whole purpose is to do the mitzvot. The whole purpose is to draw down light, fix the world, go to the next world and get your reward. Right? These things are not consequential to you serving God. Okay? But it's the history of the world is going to bring this going forward. Okay? Similarly, one should not try to determine the appointed time for Mashiach's coming. Our sages declared, may the spirits of those who attempt to determine the time of Mashiach's coming expire. Right? People who calculate when exactly is going to come, when he's not going to come, all these things, the sages curse those people.
Wow.
So if you hear those people saying, oh, it must be time, we're close, all that, stay away from that. Okay? Rather, one should await and believe in the general conception of the matter as explained. Wait, and okay, I'm waiting for what? What am I waiting? I'm waiting for somebody to come and inspire the Jewish people to serve God and to inspire the whole world to serve God. Gather the Jews to Israel, build a temple, and bring the whole world towards God, towards the end of the 6,000. That's what I'm waiting
Who's going
for.
to build a temple?
Huh?
Who's going to be the temple?
Hashem.
Well, right, what we just said is Mashiach. We're not going to get into the details,
No, but
but
is it people? Is it like magic?
as
or-
far as the Rambam says, it's going to be people. Okay, we'll see what happens. Okay, there's many other places that say that God's going to send the temple from heaven, but
Is it
it's
built from
you have to
the
understand.
sea?
You have to understand
The
whatever is said, everything's true. So if everything's true, your mind has to be able to be expansive enough to know how both could be true.
I heard it's going to be built from the bottom of the sea.
Don't worry about it. Okay, it has to be both are true. God's going to build it, and man's going to build it together at the same time. That's all you need to know. Don't worry about it. Okay? It's not a movie. There's a point to history. It's not like, oh, let me watch the movie and how it's going to unfold. And you know, if I have the script in my hand and that kind of stuff, and I want to imagine it, I want to see it. No, just serve God. You do what you can to bring down the light and bring this about. Okay. During the era of the Messianic king, okay, once his kingdom has been established and all of Israel has gathered around him, the entire nation's line of descent will be established on the basis of his words and the prophetic spirit which will rest upon him. Okay? He shall sit as a refiner and purifier. He will purify the lineage of the Levites first. Okay? All the Levi'im. He's going to say who's the Levi and who's not a Levi. Okay? Stating he is a priest of defined lineage. He is a Levi of defined lineage, right? He's going to say this guy's a Kohen, this guy's a Levi. Okay? Those whose lineage he will not recognize will be lowered to the status of Israelites. Okay, right? There's Kohanim, Leviim, and Israelim. So the Mashiach is going to say who really is what. Because the tradition is what we have, but it's not clear exactly, for sure. Okay? Why do we need to know this? Because we need to know who's going to serve in the temple. Right? Kohanim have certain mitzvot, Leviim have certain mitzvot, Israelim have certain mitzvot. Right? And we need to know who's who.
כהן יכול להיות בלי אצבע?
לא. אפקט.
לא.
Don't worry about this. Okay? When he defines the lineage of the Israelites, he will make known their tribal lineage alone. Okay? Stating he is from this tribe and he is from another tribe. Remember?
No.
Am Yisrael has 12 tribes.
Yes, I
Right?
know which one I am from.
Okay, well, the Mashiach will tell you.
I think I'm
Okay?
learning.
He will not by contract state
Menashe.
concerning a person who is presumed to be of unblemished lineage, he is illegitimate or he's a slave. Right? For the law is once a family has become intermingled with the entire Jewish people, they remain intermingled. Okay, he's not going to say this guy was never a Jew, this guy was a Jew. He's not going to do that. He's just going to say, you're from the tribe of Dan, you're from the tribe of Menashe, everybody where they need to go. Okay? Because Am Yisrael, the Jews, are supposed to serve God in their 12 tribes. Okay? Each one has a special work that they have to do.
So if you convert,
So you'll be placed somewhere in the category where you need to whatever work you need to do.
No.
It doesn't matter.
No.
Like you have to be placed wherever you have to do your fixing. He'll know exactly what you need to do to fix your soul, to fix the world, to all that. Okay. I think we have two more. Okay. The sages and the prophets did not yearn for the messianic era in order to have dominion over the entire world, to rule over the Gentiles, to be exalted nations, or to eat, drink, and celebrate. Okay, it's not party time.
No.
Okay? People think, oh, he's going to come and everything will be good and we're going to just be fine and everything is going to be good times in the world. No. Rather, they desire to be free to involve themselves in Torah and wisdom without any pressures or disturbances, right? No need to go to work. No need to worry about the nation's taxes, the
Can't wait
things,
till they
all that
come,
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Can't
Yeah, but
wait.
how long this whole process is going to be?
Could be many years. We don't know. Nobody knows.
So what do you mean you don't need to go to work? So how do you survive?
We're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. Okay. But they didn't yearn for this time so we can, go to the beach, and they didn't. The sages did not yearn for this time. They didn't want this time to come so we can have it easy in the world. So we can just go and relax on the beach, go and play basketball, go chill on vacations. Okay. This is not the purpose of the Moshiach coming. Okay.
Well, then that's not fun.
Right? Rather, they desire to be free to involve themselves in Torah and wisdom without any pressures or disturbances, so they would merit, right? Merit what? The world to come. What's the whole purpose? Why we're doing everything? To get over there, to go get the reward over
So
there.
we still have another chance
Exactly.
after to make us better. Like, let's say people that are against Torah and all that. They
There
still
won't be anybody against Torah in that time.
Yes. So
You'd
no
have to
matter
be.
what you
You,
do
you
now,
have
you're still gonna make it up.
You have to be a dog, on the level of a dog, to not be into Torah at that time.
So there's
that
hope
time-
for everyone
Of course, there's hope for everyone.
to come back.
Yes.
So רק אם כולם יחזרו, יבוא משיח.
So,
No.
so then why should we?
Mashiach will, guys, get this clear. Mashiach will gather everybody to serve God.
כולם יהיו.
Okay? He will do it. Exactly. He will.
We go like.
No, you're not allowed to be bad now. Okay? No one is saying this. Okay?
No, but she meant it's okay for the one who are bad now.
No, it's not okay for anybody to be bad. They're gonna get punished for it, okay? They're gonna get
זה מה שאני
they're
רוצה
gonna
להגיד.
get everybody's gonna get what they deserve.
No, but if they come,
What?
they all come to the same point at one point after Mashiach come. Will they be judged differently than the other one if they're on the same level? Even though
Everybody
they-
it's a general principle. Everybody's judged according to their soul. Everybody's soul is different from everybody else in the world. We can go through it in this book, in Derech Hashem, but everybody's soul is different from everybody else's in the world. And everybody's soul is judged for their particular mission in the world. So you can't learn from one person to the next. Okay? All right, one more. Okay, in that era, there will be neither famine or war. Okay? No people going hungry. Nobody fighting. Okay? You see wars. This isn't happening yet. Envy or competition. Okay? For good will flow in abundance, and all the delights will be freely available as dust. All the sushi in the world, all the cakes, everything will be like dust.
And then
Okay?
the world's gonna be destroyed.
What's gonna happen with the goyim?
Relax. We're gonna get to that. Okay? What the idea is, everything is gonna be abundant. You're gonna have everything in the world. You're not gonna be worried about this stuff, right? Right now people are worried about getting enough money and getting not just enough money, getting extra money to build houses and have bank accounts and have all this stuff and eat luxuries and go on vacations and all that stuff.
Old, I want my,
That stuff is all going to be
get old.
that stuff is all going to be like the dust, okay, in the world. The occupation of the entire world will be solely to know God. Does that include the goyim?
Yes.
I don't know.
I'll read it again. The occupation of the entire world will be solely to know God.
Okay,
Will
so
that include the goyim?
Muslims go.
Will that include the goyim?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Right. So everybody, that's their sole purpose in the world, to know God. Remember, we said if you look at the earlier classes, that everybody in the world swore that they were going to serve God, right? And that's what their little indentation here is from, right? If you guys remember, if you don't remember, go listen to the previous classes, okay? Because our knowledge is building, right? It's building like on top of what we said earlier. So if you never learned what we said earlier, you can't just jump in. Many classes tell you a lot of information, but the information is scattered all over. If you have scattered information, you don't know how to bring it all together. Okay, knowledge has to be stuff that's built on top, layered, so you can actually build a building of knowledge. Okay? Therefore, the Jews will be great sages and know the hidden matters. Okay? All the secrets of the Torah, the Kabbalah, everything, that stuff. Grasping the knowledge of their Creator according to the full extent of human potential. Okay? Right now we know God, but we're going to know Him much more. Okay? And we will be the sages of the world. The world will come to us and ask us how to serve God. Okay? So that's what Mashiach is going to do. We said in last week's class that the redemption is Mashiach bringing the whole world to completion towards the 6,000. And at the end of the 6,000, we're going to transition over into the next world. Right? I had a rabbi, every time a phone would ring, he said, "Thank God I'm alive, thank God I could hear." Okay? So that's a shout out to Rabbi Pliskin, okay, from Jerusalem. Okay? So instead of like yelling at the students, shut off your phone, what are you doing? He took it to like a positive way. Okay? Now, any questions?
Yeah. So after all that, then the world's gonna be destroyed.
Yes.
Why? If we got so close to
So the world, guys, remember, from 6,000 to 7,000, the world gets destroyed. Why? Because just as man sinned, this is we're going to get to this right now. When a person sins, he thinks nothing happened, right? He'll get punished or won't get punished. He doesn't understand that in everything he drew down darkness. He sinned, he drew down darkness on his clothes. He drew down darkness on books, on the shelves, the ground, the fruits, the drinks, the water,
All this?
everything. Okay, everything in the world, the fish, the animals. Okay, sin draws darkness onto the world. Because there is sin, what happens is, just like man must die, okay, and the soul must leave the body, and the body has to go down, disintegrate in the ground, right, and be renewed, okay, meaning like we have to get the impurities out of the body, right? That was when Adam sinned. God said, you must die now. What does it mean to die? It means the soul separates from the body goes into the ground, gets purified by disintegrating, by getting destroyed. It gets the impurities that were into the body. When the soul sinned, right? When the body and the soul sinned, the impurities came into the body. Okay, they came into the soul too. So when at death, the two separate. The body goes down to the ground and breaks apart and becomes pure again. Okay, the evil leaves it. Okay, the soul also has to go to a place and to be purified. Okay,
Does it
it
see
may
its body? Or
yeah.
It sees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Not every piece of the soul leaves the body. Okay, the body has. Remember we said there's 5 parts of the soul. Okay, the 5 parts of the soul. A little piece, a little spark of the last part of it, it remains in the body. So everything that happens to the body, the soul feels. Okay? People don't know this, but when they pass away from the earth and they go down to the ground and they're by themselves down in the grave, okay, they feel the hurt of, it's called chibut kever. If they enjoyed too much of this world, so there's angels.
They did enjoy it and they'll be okay.
Yes, there's angels
not
that
enjoying.
there's angels that come and beat the enjoyment out of them. Okay, so yes. Yeah, I know people don't like to talk about it, but that's what happens. Yeah.
It's scary. It's when you die.
What are you gonna
The
do?
body goes into the ground, and if you enjoy too much of this life, you're gonna get a nice beating down there.
Especially like me because I'm fat.
Wow.
Let's enjoy too much.
Especially
Okay.
when I'm fat.
So let me explain what does it mean. What does it mean to enjoy too much? Okay.
Doing sins, not
Eating
make
a
it.
lot.
Is it the
No.
same?
This is beyond sins. Okay. So this is talking about like, let's say you finished eating, right? You filled up what you need to fill up, not too much, not too little. You're satisfied. Now you're saying, oh wow, that looks really good. I want more. For everything you taste, and it could be the most kosher food in the world. Okay. Exactly.
That's why he doesn't eat.
Exactly.
This is why he doesn't eat.
Yeah.
But you
Yes.
know, grandparents, they used
No, but you have to eat dinner. We didn't
But
eat
guess
dinner.
what? They didn't know what we know.
No, tomati.
No, they knew. Like, you know, the very woman
Okay.
people,
They met?
knew they
Yeah,
didn't
I'm serious.
eat,
They didn't eat a lot. Yeah.
Wait.
You
You
know,
talk only
fasting.
food?
Yeah.
Well, obviously not just food, okay, but food is the classic example, okay, because it's so easy, we do it all the time, okay. But once you eat extra because you know your bodily instincts want that extra,
That's it.
that has to leave your body, okay. And when does it leave? It leaves in the ground, okay. Now, when is the safe spot to do it? When can you eat that extra? On Shabbat and on the Yamim Tovim, on the holidays, okay? That time you can eat more, okay? You can eat more, and you can eat for your let's say it says your animal instinct, okay? But if you do it during the week, it's
So we
It's
fast
gonna
already.
you're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. It is-
Okay. So any of the world's pleasures that you take out of proportion, too much sleep, too much,
Oh my gosh, I'm going
too much enjoyment, stuff that you don't need to do other than your physical needs, then that's what you pay for. Okay? But you could pay for it in this world, but what happens is people don't pay for it in this world. They want to live like a good life. So they have to pay for it when they get into the ground. Okay? But just like a person, this happens to a person's soul and their body, so too the world is comprised of a soul and the body. Okay? So everything in this world has we see the material, but inside the material there's sparks of holiness. Okay? If you go down and you break everything down, everything is made of atoms, and inside there's quarks, and inside there's lights of energy. So even the material has a soul and has a body. So that body at the end of 6,000 has to be destroyed. Okay? Because of the impurities that the sins of men caused into the world.
So I have a question. Yeah, but go ahead.
When you go to the mikvah, okay, you're supposed to be pure, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's only the week after you went to mikvah that you get punished for before you die, or what? Because if every month you go to the mikvah, you renew yourself.
Par
You're,
des femmes, you talk
yeah,
about-
but even the men last week, he said every time they do kiddush, they're pure for the men, yeah?
Now everybody does kiddush on Erev Shabbat.
Shabbat?
All their sins get wiped away.
Yes.
But
so,
you have to understand the difference between sins and
Exactly.
taking too much of the world.
so it's not even the same.
It's not
even,
sins. We're talking about stuff that you're allowed to do. Okay, you're allowed to eat 15 steaks right now. Okay, you put them, the most kosher steaks in the world right now, put them in front of a person. The person gets full after one steak, after two steaks. The rest of the 13 that he eats, he's going to have to pay for.
So is it also a material, not just...
Is it
Yes.
like abusing?
Abusing the material, yes. It's abusing the material. The
if
abuse
you
of the
really have-
material causes your soul to become dark.
So even
לא
like
יכולים
being in a
נכון.
big
לא,
house,
אתה יכול לעשות-
it's not good either.
לא טוב.
Yeah, if you don't use the house for Torah purposes.
מצא לך דברים,
Exactly.
אז זה יצא
עם
לך.
הצבעה. אבל אם לא אכלת דינר,
לא, זה משהו אחר.
אם לא אכלת, אם אתה אוכל את המנה שלך ואתה אוכל אחרי זה, משהו אחר.
Listen to what I said.
Okay,
After
well,
you're full,
It's okay.
After you.
That's what I said.
anything you do after you're full. Okay?
אז אנחנו לא...
I'm never full.
Yes,
לא, מיקר ואני.
You don't want to know what it says about people who are never full.
Well, I'm ready. I want to hear it.
It says, Tzaddik ochel lesova nafsho. A righteous man eats to the satiation of his soul. Beten reshaim techsar. The stomach of evil people will always be lacking. Okay?
את לא אוכלת נכון.
Okay?
She eats carbs.
Mm-hmm.
Carbs make you hungry. Exactly.
Okay?
Makes you full.
If you guys turn to page 369 in the
So we
book
have a
Derech
question
Hashem.
about that. So if a person is sick in this world, a person that suffers in
כן,
this
אתה
world,
יודע מה, יש לי שאלה באמת.
does he have to also go through all this stuff?
Well, it depends how much they suffer.
Suffer.
Who? What are you talking
No,
about?
suffer is not a category. Suffer is not a category that encompasses everything. There's some people suffer in money, some people suffer in their body, some people suffer in their soul. Okay, we talked about this.
Right.
There's different degrees. If he suffered in his soul, didn't suffer in his body. What if he suffered in his body and didn't suffer in his soul? What if, you know what I'm saying? There's different degrees. Suffering is just a general
So
world
what is
people like to
suffering in the
use.
soul?
Yes.
For us, like
So
now.
what? Yeah.
What is
Suffering the soul now when your kids don't do what you want, when your husband doesn't do what you want, when people in the street don't do what you want.
that suffering in the soul?
When you can't find something, when you can't find something
Wow.
very easily, when you're sitting in traffic and you have to wait and you don't want to wait.
So it's good?
Yes,
It's good?
Why?
Of course.
Why?
because you got to be cleansed.
That's your cleansing.
אז
אז
יופי.
אז מקבלים פחות חיבוק לקבר. נכון?
So marry the bad husband.
What about suffering in your body?
I have my kids. They
Stop eating.
keeping up me.
No, I'm not talking about stop eating. I mean suffering in your body. Like people that are sick.
No.
Well, they probably ate what they shouldn't have eaten or extra.
Or they didn't eat.
And no, they ate probably. Most illness comes from eating. Most of them, 99.9 come from eating.
No,
Okay.
actually, no.
So listen, you're not with a person 24 hours a day and you see everything they put in their mouth and
Skin like that.
and how much they put in their mouth. Okay.
That's the problem, that he didn't eat a lot and he drank alcohol. That's what happened. because of
Okay,
that.
like
Right.
alcohol is
Right.
bad food.
Right.
Yeah.
So same thing, same idea with alcohol, overextending it and too much into the physical, so the physical has to come back out. Right? The whole purpose of the persons in this world is to let the soul shine. Okay? And stay away from the physical. Okay? You're supposed to use the physical, okay? Like you make a bracha on wine, on bread, you're supposed to eat it, right? You're supposed to use the body to serve God, right? A man puts on tefillin, he puts on talit, he uses his body, right? He uses the physical to serve God, okay? But if you give too much excess to the body, not talking about sins, just extra, definitely for sins, but if you give too much to the body, too much excess, that has to be taken account for. People don't understand that, like they get sick, bad things happen to them, tragedies, all sorts of stuff. They don't understand why. Okay? They're just giving too much to the physical.
So how is the Torah telling us to eat them, to be healthy?
Well,
Could be it.
yeah, you're supposed to eat not till you're full. You're supposed to fill your stomach 2/3. Okay, 2/3 every time you start eating.
And what are we supposed to eat? Do they privilege something in particular? Grains, protein, what?
Well, so you have to understand that eating is a function of not giving nutrients to your body. That's the physical world. That's what they speak about. But the spiritual world is, by eating, we fix the food that was drawn down into the material world too much. Okay? So that means everything in the material world has to be fixed, has to become elevated, whether it's grains, whether it's vegetables, whether it's fish, whether it's animals. Everything has to be uplifted. Okay? Even the rocks and the minerals have to be uplifted. We uplift it through our mouth. Okay? Eating is a small part of it. There's still also blessing, there's still praying, right? There's different levels. But as soon as you put it in your mouth, you're already taking it up a notch, up a level. Okay, when you bless, when you pray, when you learn Torah with your mouth, you're taking it up another level. Okay? So people don't really do that. They eat for pleasure. Most of the restaurants in the world are not there to feed you, to satiate you. They're there to give you pleasure.
Yes.
And the world is in love with pleasures. Okay? And the world is in love with going out to restaurants and, doing all that kind of stuff. And what they don't realize is that they're bringing evil upon themselves. It says, Shomer pivo leshono, Shomer mitzarot nafsho. A person who keeps his mouth and his tongue will be spared from the troubles of his soul. Okay? Now, it's also evil speech, but it's also, eating too much, eating the wrong things, eating at improper times, all that kind of
Not
stuff.
making bracha.
Not making a bracha, exactly. Okay? But the world has become so physical that eating is for pleasure, taking vacations is for pleasure, right? Everything is for the pleasure of a person, instead of becoming holy and using the world for what it's really meant to be. The whole world is meant to be like a place of hide and seek between you and God. Okay? If you see that, then you use the world for that. That's the whole purpose of the Torah. The Torah is supposed to teach you to, a way to act and a way to think, so you use the world properly. Most people's suffering is because they use the world improperly. And it could be that they use it properly for the most part, meaning like they keep the Torah mitzvot, but they don't keep it perfectly according to the design that was implemented. Okay?
So when you go to Mexico,
Right. So like,
For
let's say you go on
vacation.
vacation, right? If you go on vacation and say, hey,
Florida.
there's a place called Mexico. I've never seen it. There's, there's a different views that you can look and marvel at the beauty of the Creator. There's different creatures over there I've never seen, different foods I never tasted. Okay, you go there to experience God in that place. That's perfect. That becomes a mitzvah, right? That becomes an actual like act of sanctifying God's name, drawing down light, and doing good. But if you go there, I just want to relax, and it's so much fun over there, I don't have to think about anything, and just close my mind off, forget about it. As far as the beach, guys should not be going to the beach unless it's a separate beach, okay? Because if men are there, there's probably women there, and they're not dressed properly, okay? I had a rabbi once, and his student told him, "Hey, Rabbi, why can't my wife go to the beach? What's the problem with her going to the beach and wearing like a bikini?" So like he didn't answer him. The next day he said to, they were learning in the student's house. And he said, the rabbi said to the student, he said, "Hey, do you mind if your wife comes down in her bra and panties, does a little like twirl for us?" The student was in shock. "You're a rabbi, how you talking? This is the way you talk? What's the matter with you?" He said to him, "Yeah, but doesn't she do that? Doesn't she do that when she goes to the beach? Right? What's the difference?"
She doesn't know anyone.
What is the
Even
difference?
if she knows someone, everyone is
It's the
doing
same
it.
thing.
That's the thing.
It's the same thing. Everybody's doing it, so it's fine. But if I do it in my house, it's not fine. What's the difference? If the rabbi saw her on the beach or he saw her in the house, it's not the same thing. Okay? So people have to realize what's going on. Okay? So yeah, going to the beach. Yeah, if he wants to go at 5 a.m. when nobody's there, he wants to go do a mikveh. That's fine. But you have to realize, and also the women. Women, how are you going into the beach? You going there with like fully clothed, or are you going there showing skin?
I love Israel for this separate beaches.
Right.
I
In
love
Israel, you have separate beaches.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm going. Every
Men
time
and
I'm
women.
there, I'm going.
Men and women, separate times or separate actual
Bat Yam,
beaches.
especially in Bat Yam, I
Yeah.
love it.
Everywhere. Yeah, Netanya, Bat Yam, Ashdod, Tel Aviv, even.
Tveria.
Yeah.
The Tveria at the same time as a man.
Too much money.
Yeah.
What if the woman goes to the beach, let's say here, and
Tveria?
she's properly dressed? It's still not.
Yeah, it's still not the best, but yeah, it's fine. I mean,
Even
because she's
we're
properly
okay
dressed.
looking at men,
No,
but we're not. Also,
no looking at men.
so there's still naked men there,
Exactly.
so it's not something.
Exactly. It's just more magnified when you talk about women, because like in society, men could, men walk around without their shirt,
Yeah.
and it's like a fashion statement. If a woman walked around with her shirt, it's nakedness. It's the same thing. So it's easier to talk about women and to prove a point as opposed to talk about men. Okay. All right. So go turn to page 369. Enough of the fun. Enough of the games.
Hein, Bobo?
מה בוגו?
She has questions.
No, not now. I'll tell you.
Okay. Page 369. Okay. If you guys want me to read in Hebrew, I can read in Hebrew and
No.
translate, or yeah, okay, okay, fine. 369. Okay, and everybody watching at home, the book is The Way of God, and we're in the back of the book. There's an essay on fundamentals, and it's on page 369. Okay, you ready? Okay, if you see, this is like bringing together everything we've been saying. Everything we've been saying all this time about Torah and mitzvot. Okay?
Yes.
So Torah and commandments. The main point of creation was that God wanted to create man who would then have the task of attaching himself to God. Thus, to enjoy his true good. Okay? The whole purpose of this world, okay, the food, the luxuries, whatever is in here, is that God wanted to have a place for a person to attach himself to God, okay, and by doing so, getting good. Okay, God wants us to have good, but He wants us to do this. This is accomplished through the fact that man has two ways before him, one being good and the other evil. Okay, you have to have two paths: a path of good and a path of evil. And then a man is placed in the middle. He could choose whatever he wants. If he chooses evil, it's away from God, and he's not going to get good. If it's good, obviously it's towards God, and he is going to get good. Okay? And the man has the power to choose whichever he desires. When through his own free will and knowledge he chooses good and rejects evil, then this true everlasting good is given him. Okay? That's for sure. It's not like a boss. You don't know if the boss will pay you at the end of the month or he won't pay you at the end of the month, right? At the end of the day, he won't pay at the end of the day. Okay? God's company doesn't run out of money to pay a person, right? We're not talking about money. We're talking about, obviously, pleasure. Okay? All other things were created only because the highest wisdom deemed them necessary in order for the universe to be complete. Okay, so everything in the universe, the sun, the moon, the mountains, the rivers, the lakes, the foods, the animals, the creatures, everything is because God decided that it's necessary for everything to be complete. Man's mission, right? To choose good. So the man could exist in a state mentioned above, between the good and evil, where he could serve God and thus attain true good. Okay? The whole world is designed as not a playground, a playing field, like a football field, right? There's good and there's evil, there's lines, there's out of bounds, there's fouls, there's all that stuff. And the purpose is to score the points, to win the game, to go get the trophy, to go get the prize. That's it.
Pollution and all that is all.
Everything's part of it.
That's it.
Okay?
The
Everything in the world is part of the
heating
design.
up, all that is.
If you remember how the world was designed, how the world was created, is that God drew away his light and then put it back in. So everything in the world is by design supposed to be in the world. Nothing is accidental. This is what people who, particularly the people on the left, the leftists, the left in Judaism is the evil, is the side of evil. The people who went away from God want us to focus on the physical and the material world. Okay? They want you to like worry about it, to discuss it, to have all your days like fixated upon it, right? If we do this, then this will happen. Yeah, if we recycle, that will happen. If it does. Listen, at the end of the day, there's only 220 more years to go. They're talking about, oh, the world won't be here in 1,000 years if we don't recycle. Don't worry, it's not going to be here in 220 years, okay? But because they don't know this, they start like, conjuring things up in their head because they've distanced themselves from God. So they make you worry about things that are not relevant to your life at all, okay? Of course, we do not know every single thing in the world was necessary, okay? We don't know why, everything in the world is necessary. Okay, because we're not like geniuses, why does this speck of dust have to be here at this time, right, and this day? But what we do know from our sages is that the main element in all creation is man, okay? Like the central figure, the central actor of this movie called the world, history, right? I had a rabbi say history is his story, God's story, all right? But the main actor in all this business is man, okay, as a person. And all the other things were created only for his sake. Everything was created for man. And therefore, that the main purpose in man's creation was for him to attain the true good. Okay, the central figure, there's no save the whale, save the tiger, save the giraffes, all that stuff. It's all part of the plan. Stay away from it. The whole purpose is man.
The dinosaurs too?
Save man. Yeah, the dinosaurs, these guys, the petroleum, the fuel, forget about it. They just drive you crazy, okay? Because they don't know what the purpose of the world is, so they make up things, okay? We need to save the children, we need to save the whales, we need to save this, we need to save that.
You don't even look at the news,
There's no, you can look at the news to see, if you have a good perspective of the world, then you look at the news not the real news, not like the commentary and stuff. Just exactly what happened. You see God guiding the world.
Okay.
Right? You look at even sporting events. Who wanted that team to win?
Like the plane in Iran.
The plane in Iran, the plane in JFK right now landing. Everything. When you look at the world, you're watching God in action.
Why the plane
like
that with...
You're watching God in action. It's all part of the plan. Okay? So you can look at that stuff and be wowed by it. see God in action and like draw yourself closer to Him and love it and say, yes, this is what I want. This is part of the plan. Even the bad, right? The good and the bad. You're just looking at it and enjoying what God is doing. Like a movie, okay? If you do it like that, then yeah, all that stuff is great. Watching the news is good. Watching sports is good. Because you're watching God in action. Okay? The Gemara says, even if you see a non-Jewish king coming down the street, you should do whatever you can to go around and see him. Okay, why? Because you see what kingship is, and when the king and Messiah comes, the Moshiach comes, you'll be able to differentiate between those kings and the real godly king. Okay,
depending on how you think.
Exactly. It's all depending on how you think. It's all about your perspective. And that's why the Torah is so perfect. It's so great because you have God's perspective in the world. Okay? Otherwise, you're looking at human brains. What perspective? The perspective you grew up watching cartoons, that perspective you see the world. All right? A person didn't watch cartoons, so he watched sports. So he sees the world through sports. A person was in business. A person was with drugs and rapists and craziness, and that's the way he sees the world. It can't be. You have to see it through the designer's
9/11.
everything. You have to see it through the designer's eyes. Everything is for this purpose. Okay? There has to be good, there has to be evil, there has to be man in the middle choosing between good and evil. Okay? However, the highest wisdom perceives that in order for man to attain this good, he must first be tested and pass his test. Okay, so this world is the world of test. Okay, if you remember the drawings that we drew, the world of work and the world of reward. This world is the world of test. People don't understand this, so they ask, why did this happen? How come this? How come that? You know, they cry about the story of the world, but they don't understand the story of the world. If you understood the story of the world, it has to happen. It has to be this way. Okay? It's all for the test. This is the physical world, a place where both good and evil exist, and where man could reject evil and choose good. If everything was good, that's not the purpose of the world, right? So people always want it to be good, right? But that's not the purpose of the world. The purpose of the world is for man to be tested, okay? We want good so we can pass the test, so it's easier to pass the test, but good for the sake of good, there's no such thing. That's the next world.
There's also good and the bad.
Yes, but it's all for the next world. Understand? The next world is all good. This world is a test world that has good and evil in it, and it's by design, and it has to be this way for the purpose of the world and the world to come. Okay? And if a person doesn't understand this, he's just going to give suffering and bitterness into his soul. It's totally a shame. Totally a shame.
לעשות ככה באהבה. כל מה שקורה.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
כן, אין מה לעשות, הוא צודק, מה נעשה?
That is the purpose of the physical world.
And accept it.
No, I accept it. Understand it.
Understand that.
Understand it, so you accept it anyway. It's not like, oh, I
Maybe
don't
that's
want
what
it to be
we
this
do,
way,
but
but I gotta accept it
video.
because no, I want it to be this way because
Because it meant
this
to
is
be
the
this way.
design. This is the purpose of the world. Okay?
But when you
So
suffer,
when do we
you don't
know-
think like that.
when do we know that we have
אתה צריך להגיע למצב הזה
something to
שכן.
do with it, or it's all
Because you're-
meant to have? You understand?
לך
This is where I'm
שפה במקום
confused.
אחר.
Keep
I'm
telling you.
still confused. Yeah, I know.
It's both at the same
But
time.
when do we,
Why?
Because
Why?
you're in-
no
you're
matter
shocked.
what we
When you're
do,
outside
is
and
that
outsider,
what's
you
that's
see
what
That's what God
was-
wanted. That's what God wanted. What we
whatever it
do,
is, where you work, where you don't work,
exactly.
what you
Whatever
did,
whatever happens in the 6,000 years is exactly what God wanted to happen in those 6,000
if
years.
you're religious, you're not religious, you're
Everything. If I raise my hand just now, that's what God
But it
wanted.
helped this.
If I spoke these words, that's what God wanted.
Yeah,
Don't
but so
confuse
why
yourself.
is
Don't feel
God
bad
wants
about anything.
us to speak. Let's say Lashon Hara. So why?
Because there has to be good and there has to be evil.
That's why we learn.
Guys.
That we learn.
There has to be good and there has to be evil. There has to be a thing called Lashon Hara. There has to be people speaking it for it to even be a test. If there weren't anybody speaking it, there'd be no test. Okay? A person has to think. It says, everybody has to say, Vishvili nivra haolam. For me, the world was created. You're not supposed to look at other people's lives. You're supposed to look at your life. Okay? My best friend is talking evil right now. Oh, he was created for me. I'm not supposed to speak evil. Okay? Did God want him to speak evil? Yes, God was speaking evil because the world's created for me. I'm not looking at it through his eyes, through my friend's eyes or God's eyes. I'm looking at it through my eyes.
Do you ignore it or do you say something? What's your job?
if the friend is going to listen to you, if the friend is a person who's smart and wants to better himself, then yeah, of course you have a
If
mitzvah to say something.
It's because that's what Hashem wanted.
Yes, and if you don't say something, it's what Hashem wanted. And everything that happens for the 6,000 years is exactly what God wanted.
Every time.
You have to repeat it every single day of every moment of your life. Otherwise, you're going to be confused. Oh, God didn't really want it to happen. And how did this happen? How could it go against His will? How could He let this happen? How could this tragedy happen? You're going to confuse yourself. Everything that happened is exactly what God wanted to happen. That's it. Your life is perfect. You got to this point. You got to this point because God wanted you to get this point. You got to this class because God wanted you to get this class.
So there's no regret. I should
Exactly.
married this guy. I should have
Exactly.
done
The
this.
only
I shouldn't
thing-
have 10 kids.
the
I shouldn't
only-
have 1 kid.
What's the only thing a person's supposed to regret?
שלא התחזרתי בתשובה יותר.
Exactly,
What?
right?
What?
Not
And I
having,
didn't come to
not
know when I
having
was a
come
child.
close to God
Yeah,
sooner.
but that's also Hashem's.
Exactly, but you have to
regret.
think, you have to regret it, right?
So I did
Because
not
God
like
commanded you
that
to
Torah.
regret not being close to Him, not doing the commandments, okay? That's part of tshuva. That's the mitzvah of tshuva, to regret that. But everything else, oh, I went to this college, I didn't go to that college, I met this person, I
I
didn't
told
meet
that
that
to my
person.
daughter. I say, you know what? Don't worry about the colleges. You know, you're gonna go where Hashem wants you to go.
Exactly.
That's what I told her. She
Exactly.
was stressed. I said, don't worry.
Exactly. If anybody,
Yeah.
If
it's
anybody
confusing.
watched-
she got accepted too.
if
So.
anybody watched the elections, the previous elections, I happened to be in Israel at the time. No, I happened to be in Israel at the time. Listen all the way. The election when Obama got elected the first time. If you saw the election 3 weeks before the election, there was no chance Obama was going to be elected.
Yeah.
It was McCain was ahead by 10 points, which
Yeah.
was impossible to make up.
נכון.
3 weeks before the election, the stock market goes
Down.
destroyed.
I know.
God wanted
Obama goes all the way up, and
So
and that's it. It's an end. Okay,
Yeah.
hang on, relax. Listen all the way. Okay. Everything got switched. God says, "Lia kesef Lia zav." Money is mine, right? I control the money. Okay. If a person looks at it and sees it, he sees everything. Boom. God did everything exactly how it's supposed to be. If we look with our human minds,
Commit suicide.
we'll never see this. Yeah, we'll go crazy. We'll commit suicide.
Okay.
Right? We'll go crazy. Okay? If you see it through God's eyes, you see that the world is run perfectly as He wants it. Okay?
אז סליחה, what we have to say, חטאנו, אבינו, if we did something, then He caused us to say it.
Because when you were doing it, you didn't think, hey, God, you're doing it. You thought you were doing it. And for that thought that you were doing it, you have to regret it.
No, but now I'm always thinking, okay, well, He wanted me to do it. Even I do something, you know?
Okay, so when you do something bad, listen carefully. When you do something bad, He wanted you to do it, but you also wanted to do it. Okay? Now, that He wanted you to do it, and
So
to
you feel bad
realize,
after that.
exactly, and realize that it was wrong, and then you come back to Him. Okay? What happens is when we sin, we go down. Okay? When we go down, we go into the physical. Sometimes the physical has to be fixed, has to be elevated. Okay, so we go down, we drink that coffee, we go to that place, we see those things, and then when you come back up, you take the sparks of that place and you bring them, return them back to God. Okay? But you didn't know. You're like, oh, that place looks so nice, that coffee looks so good, right? You jump into it like with your urges. Okay? So for those urges that you jumped into it, that's what you have to repent. But God wanted it there because there's certain sparks He wants you to uplift from there. Okay? And He wants you to come close to Him and realize what He said is permitted or not permitted.
So, even like chosen people, if we are, Obama was elected, no one opened their mouths, you know? No one said anything. He didn't run once, twice. Now, Trump is elected, everything is bad for us. What's that? It's like, how can God want something against Israel all the time? All the time,
Part
all the
of
time.
the plan.
Thank
It's
you.
constantly,
The design.
it's
Thank
like-
you. Well, we got one person here at least that gets the idea.
Yeah, but
It's part of the plan. Don't confuse yourself.
it's
All
that's
history-
it's always part of the plan. Like
all
to
history-
throw us down totally like that.
Either you believe that this is how the way the world was created, or you don't believe that the world was created. It's much easier to believe that this is the way the world was created. And this is the way God runs the world. It's so much easier. Trust me. You're going to just confuse yourself and you're just going to be upset about everything.
What? What's wrong?
But Trump
Okay.
did too good for Israel. Right?
Okay, I'm going to continue, okay?
Yeah, but that's
You guys inside? Okay, let's look inside.
Because it's the design for sure.
The ultimate nature of good and evil is respectively the holiness and corruption, the tumah, that God placed in the world. Okay, when you do good, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav, you become holy. When you do bad, you draw down tumah. You draw down impurity. You draw down evil to the world. Okay? There's no state being in the middle. I'm religious, I'm not religious. It doesn't matter what you think or what you believe. This is what happens automatically because this is the design of the world. Okay? Holiness is a state of closeness to God, while corruption is that which is distant from Him. Okay? You're either coming close or going down. There's nothing else. Holiness is the influence that God grants to one who is fit for it, and is a bestowal that abides with Him. Okay? Corruption meaning tumah, like evil, impurity, on the other hand, is a state of separation, where God draws away, and a state of hiding, wherein God conceals Himself. Okay, if you remember when Adam sinned, he started hiding. So God said, "Where are you?" Right?
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, I was hiding because I sinned." You know, like, what was he hiding from? Where did he think God was?
Why did he ask you, where are you?
Where did he think God was? Forget what God said, but why did Adam think that God is somewhere and I can hide from Him? Where is it? Who does he think God is? You see that the sin conceals God. Okay? It causes the person to become blind. Okay?
The more you live in sin, the less you...
Exactly. The
you
more
have-
you live in sin, the
you
less
see
you see
God.
God. Exactly. Now you're talking, okay? So people say, "Oh, show me Him, show me Him."
And if
You're acting
can't.
like Adam when he sinned, as if like God is someplace. Instead of Him being Ein Sof and being everywhere, He's someplace. Okay? Someplace distant from Him. Okay? So this is what sin does. And since the world right now is sinning a lot, the world is becoming more and more and more secular. Okay? And distancing Himself away. The truth, however, is that God created spiritual forces especially for this purpose. It is from these forces that darkness and pollution, zuama, is like, meaning not pollution, the air pollution, meaning pollution of impurity, emanate, okay, from these angels. Wherever such pollution exists, holiness draws away and God's light hides itself. These forces are known as the forces of corruption. Kochot tuma. Okay? There's forces of evil and corruption in the world. Okay? Some people say, "Oh, everything's good, everything's fine, everything's holy." No. There's forces of good and there's forces of evil. There's a purpose. There's a design for the world. You just have to understand it. Okay? God gave man the ability to motivate the highest roots through his deeds. Meaning, remember, man is here in this world, but he's really connected to all the worlds. Remember the 4 levels of the worlds, that when he does something here, he draws down light, or when he does something bad here, he draws down darkness, and the opposite. Man's deeds can therefore draw sustenance from God's holiness and the light of his good. On the other hand, it can also transmit pollution and corruption. Okay? So a person is either drawing good or drawing bad. All right? We know for sure that the if you look in the book, the sins draw bad, mitzvot, commandments draw good. But also material, staying away from the material draws good, and coming closer to the material draws bad. Also, person's character traits. The better he fixes his character traits, the more he draws good, the more he becomes like an animal and angry and bad character traits, he's drawing bad. Okay? God specifies certain deeds through which holiness is transmitted and commanded us to keep them. Okay? There's certain things that's what they do, that's their nature. These include all the commandments that we are required to obey. On the other hand, he also specifies certain deeds that bring about pollution and commanded us to abstain from them. These include all the things that are forbidden. Okay? That's what the Torah is telling us. The Torah is telling us, oh, it's not like a circus. Do this and don't do that, and I'll punish you and I'll reward you. It's not like that. The actual acts are having an effect in the world. Okay? There is only one true good, however, that is attachment to God. Okay? Good, when we define good, is attached to God. When we define bad, is distance from God. That's all there is. Okay? People say this and that and all that stuff. Good is only attraction to Him. We have already explained that the commandments are means which transmit the emanations of God, holiness, and the light of His good. These commandments are therefore the means through which true good can be achieved. The individual who sanctifies himself to a great degree with the emanation of God's holiness becomes fitting to be attached to Him and enjoys true good. Okay? The people who cleanse themselves through these commandments, they become fit to stick to God, right? It's like two pieces of glue. Okay, God is glue, and a person has glue on him too. If he does commandments, so he cleans this place so the glue could stick together. But if he dirties this place, so anybody knows anything about glue, it can't stick to surfaces if it's dirty. Okay, so a person has to constantly attach themselves by doing the commandments. Okay. On the other hand, the person who corrupts himself with the pollution that we have mentioned becomes unfit to attach himself to God and therefore cast away from Him. Okay? People are distant from Him. There are, however, many levels with regard to the emanation of both holiness and the pollution that we have discussed, right? There's levels to this. It's not yes or no, right? Some people think, oh, he's religious, he's close. He's not religious, he's not. Okay? There's levels. There's a story in the Zohar that Avraham, God told him at the age of 86, he's going to have a child. Okay? He did. He had Ishmael. Okay? But he didn't have Yitzchak with Sarah until the age of 100. Zohar says he wasn't yet fitting. He didn't reach the level where Yitzchak, the holy soul, can come down through him. So you see, well, at the age of 86, he was holy, right? He was always constantly talking about God, drawing people to God, going around the world spreading His message. But at the age of 100, he was holier, right? So it's fitting to have Yitzchak as a son. Okay, so you see there's levels to this. This is likewise true of the good that is attained through good deeds, as well as the state of being cast away from God as a result of evil deeds. These levels are responsible for the differences that will exist between various individuals with regard to true excellence, as we shall explain shortly. Like in the next world, we're not going to be on the same level. You did more, you're closer. You did less, you're further. You did better, you're closer. You did less good, you're further, right?
Yeah, but if you say
everybody's on their level.
Everybody's going to be on the same level.
No, we never said everybody's going to be on the same level. Everybody's going to be on their own individual level. But everybody's going to be doing the same thing. Okay? Everybody's, like, let's say right now, not the whole world likes football. Only America. Imagine the whole world loves football.
But still not on the same level.
Right. Everyone's going to love on a different level. Okay? Same thing. A person's going to draw close or further according to their different levels. Okay? It is also necessary to realize that just as man was given the power to have both holiness and pollution transmitted to himself, so was he given the ability to have holiness and pollution transmitted to all creation through his deeds. You understand? So it's not like I'm just drawing it to myself. Drawing it to the coffee, to the table, to the camera, to the bookshelf, to the sweater. To my house. Yeah. Bad things happen in people's houses all the time. They just don't know why. They think, it must have been an electrical circuit. That's why there was fire. The Gemara says if there was fire there wasn't words of Torah there.
And also Shabbat, keeping Shabbat.
And also Shabbat, right. So things don't just happen. Things don't just break, okay? A person either draws down holiness or impurity onto the physical world, okay? Therefore, all creation can either be rectified or damaged spiritually because of man, okay? It's our fault things are bad. Not because we didn't come up with the technology to fix it. Not because we didn't recycle. Not because we didn't, okay? It's because of the sins they draw down negativity into the world.
It's like
if you buy a house,
all these 7 kids, that passed in the house, religious family. on Hanukkah because of the plata. They
Yeah, it wasn't because of the plata. Okay,
know what they do so bad, you know.
I don't know.
You
God
never
knows.
know. God knows.
God knows.
I
Okay.
know,
But-
it's
but
hard for
now-
normal
now-
people
now-
to make sense.
Now, God, it's not about making sense. It's first you got to start off. God wanted it. Okay, that's first and first one.
So painful.
God wanted it. Secondly, it could have been them. It could have been their reincarnation. Okay, a reincarnation. They had to come back and suffer this because something they did in a previous life. Okay, before they came into this world.
All of them, all siblings.
Yeah, it could be that. Usually siblings and parents, they're coming from the same root soul. So, okay. So it could have been that. And it could have been, since all Am Yisrael is connected, it could have been they were suffering for other people. Okay? Am Yisrael, yeah, all of Israel is connected one to another. So, if one person sins, another person has to pay for it. If one person does a mitzvah, another person gets rewarded for it. Okay, we're all connected. We're one team. It's all part of the plan. 6,000 years, all part of the plan.
It's not that souls were going to come for 5, 6, 7 years.
It's not that he knew. He did it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So when he
did it.
He brought these souls down.
He did it. He did it. Forget new.
It's also what happened with the three boys.
He does, and he will do everything that happened.
It's also what happened
So
with
you
the
should
three
not.
boys.
So you should not cry over these people.
No, you could be sad because God is showing you something.
Yeah.
What's God showing you?
Something's
Something's
wrong.
not good. You got to fix yourself. You got to do better.
So it's
Right?
also
It's a message. It's a message. God's constantly talking to us, right? It's a message.
Oy.
Okay? So it's not sad for the sake of being sad. Were you happy when they were keeping Shabbat, when they were eating gefilte fish? Were you happy? We're like, yes. Oh man, there's another family over there keeping Shabbat and eating gefilte fish. You didn't care, right? So you heard a sad story. Well, you're sad because it's a sad story, right? But you're not happy when there's a happy story, right? So you have to be sad that God had to bring something bad to give us a message. Something's not going good here. We have to fix something. Okay, on that you should be sad because there's evil, not enough goodness in the world, so evil has to manifest in the physical world.
And also what happened with the three boys.
All the bad stories in the world. All the bad stories.
They found the tunnels.
All the bad stories are the same thing. All the good stories are the same thing. The light draws down goodness. The lack of light draws down badness. It's much easier. Trust me. It's much easier to think this way.
Yeah, but
And it's the truth. It's not just easier. It's just convenient.
one pays for
basically-
the other.
Yes.
So
We're all
basically
together.
what we
We're
said-
one team.
Can I connect something to what I said before? If it's all connected, and Hashem wants everything to be like other people like from the I'm not saying nobody perfect has a shalom. Like I'm not saying but if other people are doing something wrong and you confront them, it means that you should confront them because he couldn't influence the other people as bad as he can hurt other people.
Yeah, obviously you have a
So you can-
commandment.
yeah.
Obviously you have a commandment to
So
do
you
it.
can confront them, like at least don't lose the
Right,
Jewish
but,
nation.
But here's the problem. Not everybody knows what you just learned.
Nachon.
So they confront them, and the other person senses. It says, "K'mayim panim panim ken lev adam la'adam." Just like waters are of a face is, you can see the reflection in waters. So too people's hearts. They reflect one another. Okay. So a person, you come at a person and you're yelling at them because you want them to keep, but just because you want to keep them to be like you, they feel your heart. They feel it's not real. So they get mad at you too. Okay? But if your heart is clear and genuine, right? It says, Kol sheyesh lo yirat shamayim, dvarav nishmaim. Anybody who has real awe of God, whatever he says, people will accept it because that's what's in his heart. His heart's clean and they could reflect the heart. They feel his heart. Okay, so obviously it depends on the person's heart, what they're doing it for. That's the success where they have it. Sure, there's a commandment to do it.
You could pray in yourself.
Also
for
pray,
them,
right. You can do a lot of things.
Instead of, because some people don't take it good, right? Especially
Especially if you don't bring it right? If you say out of love, you say
No,
hey, I love
it's
you.
just
I want
surprising.
you to know. I want you to know what's in this book. I want you to know these things. There's, then they'll accept it. But you just tell them, oh, you're supposed to do that, or else bad things are going to happen. Most people are not going to be kind to that. but you never know. Like she said, she
Some
like, you
people
never know.
need to beat up to wake up. Some needs to hear it.
Whatever God wants. Okay. All right. Now the manner in which man's deeds transmit these influences, okay, is through the above mentioned power of parallelism that exists between the entities below in the physical world and the highest forces. Remember, we said what's up top is also what's down here. The light is coming down through the different worlds and then comes here. So that means whatever's here is also up there. Okay? So if down here we do bad, up there it draws down bad. If down here we do good, up there is good. Okay? Whenever something physical is moved, a certain motivation reaches its counterpart force on high. So if I raise my hand, there's a hand up there, and the upper world's also raising their hand, right? If I tilt the cap up there, there's a tilted cap. Everything that happens here is what's happening there. Now you can also see if some sporting events happen here, it's also happening there. So you understand everything's from God, right? That force then brings about the transmission of a particular influence, okay? Meaning like what you do here draws down back. If a particular deed involves the fulfillment of the divine commandment, then this will strengthen its counterpart force. And as a result, an influence of holiness will be transmitted from God, following the nature of this particular motivation. If, on the other hand, the particular deed is among those which must be avoided, right, the negative commandments, it will cause a blemish in its counterpart force on high, according to the particular nature of the misdeed. This in turn causes God's light to conceal itself and retract. So who's doing everything?
Good.
Thank you. Okay. In its place, one of the forces of corruption is motivated, exactly opposite to the influence that has been concealed. Okay? Everything in the world has a counterpart up there. So the mitzvah of chala has something up there. The mitzvah of tzedakah has something up there, right? Whatever you do here has a different force. Chala is one force, tefillin is one force, tzedakah is one force, Shabbat candles are one force. Everything is a different light that's coming down. Okay? So you can't say, oh, that person's religious, he's good. That person's not religious, he's bad. Every light has its specific thing that it's doing. Okay? That's what we should try to do as much as we can. Okay? This transmits pollution according to the particular motivation question. Now, repentance removes the blemish in precisely the same manner. Okay, when a person does tshuva, he takes away the block that he brought down. Okay, when a person repents, he takes away the block and he brings down the good light. Power to act is taken away from the particular force of corruption that parallels the sin, and therefore the influence of holiness is brought back and appropriately transmitted. Okay? So when you do tshuva, you stop the darkness and you bring back the light. Again, Moshiach, what's he going to do? He's going to get everyone to repent and draw down this light, right? And when the light is drawn down, everybody's going to recognize God and everything. That's the whole purpose of creation. At the end of 6,000 years, everybody's going to recognize God and know that he was the one doing everything. Remember his story. And everybody's going to go to the next world and get the rewarded for it. Okay? That's the whole purpose of creation. That's the purpose of our lives. That's the real reason behind why everything happens in the world for the reason it does. It's because of this. And if you know it, you can have fun. If you don't know it, you're just going to have questions and just have doubts and suffering. Okay?
Yes.
That concludes our shiur. Have a good night. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, all the good stuff. Thank you guys.